In this video we're going to write a small application in Express using the Jade view engine. This is the application, Jade example, and we have these dependencies, Bootstrap, Express, and Jade. They are installed already under Node modules. We have our app.js and our views folder. The app.js uses Express, which is loaded here, require Express, and the path here. This is the part where we define the view engine. App set view engine to Jade, so we tell Express that it has to use the Jade view engine. This part is not required if we use the folder views, but if we want to, because views is the default folder for Jade views. If we want to use a different folder, we can assign it here. So this is just for clarity. Here's the interesting part. Here we can define the routes in our application. So app.get / which is the root of the application. We use this function to render a response. And this response renders an index. And this is actually the index file, index Jade file. The file can be found here. We then can send some objects to the view. This is the title, the front page. If we go to the website jadelang.com, we find explanations how we use Jade. Jade is a template language that we can write fast HTML and scripts. On the left hand side we can see how we write Jade. On the right side we see how it's outputted into HTML. If we first look inside the index Jade, this extends layout and then it blocks a body. This means that it extends another file called layout, which is this one. This file might seem a bit complex at first, but it's the header and all the stuff we want to repeat on every page. And in the main tag under the container, we use the block body, and this is where we have the body. So we can start by writing some Jade code, and it's very important that we use the tab, not spaces, tab. So let's create a div. We just write div, and then we have created a div. If we want to assign a class to the div, we just write dot row. This is Bootstrap. So div.row is a div with the class row. Div.call md-12. Now we have a full size div. And then we can use h1, the front. The front. We just save that one. Like we said before, if we go to the slash, we go to the index file, which is going to be shown. So let's go inside the terminal and let's run node-mon and app.js. This will start the server, and it's listening on port 3000. So let's go into port 3000. Here we are. The topper is the generated code from the layout file. This is the code we have written. So if we go back into here and we just h1 is the front, and now we can say p.lead, which is another Bootstrap class, and we're just gonna write some code here. Bam. And we save it. Now we have this here as well. Now this is work the way we are working with this is a lot like Sass, you know, the CSS way, that we indent everything. It's like if I want to do something inside this div here, I indent once, one tab, and then this is defined in this div right here. So if I want to make another row, for example, just write row and indent, because this div is supposed to be inside the row, call md12, and now we just define a p text here. If we look inside the code, we have the first row, and then we have the call md12 and the text inside, and down here we have the second row with the new text. If we want to use the data from here, we can define an attribute like title with a text or something else, or an object. Now we can use the title inside the index view. So if we want to use the attribute here instead, so we want the heading to be something intelligent, we can do it like that, hashtag and curly braces, and we just write title. We save, refresh the front page, which is the same thing as we have inside here. Now let's make another page with this for make it easier. The about me page, and I'll make a route called about, and this will use the about Jade file, which is not created yet, and the title will be about me. Now up here we have an object. It's called data, which contains a first name, last name, and age. This can, for example, be used in the about page. So let's put that data inside into the view. So we just write person is equal to data. Now if we use the person, we can use that as an object in the view. Let's create the about view. We just copy this code at first, or in fact we're going to copy it up to there, and we are going to create the about.jade. Paste the text, and here we are. Now we have the title here, and it's a different title from the first one. So if we go to about, bam, about me, it's right there. Now we can define something else. We can, for example, use a break, and we use the p to define a paragraph. And now we are going to use the object, this object, person. And we have these attributes, first name, last name, and age. So person dot first name. And we can use the, if we want to use multiple lines, the same paragraph, it's important that we use the pipeline. Last name is person dot last name, new break, pipeline, and age is person dot age. There we go. Now we have this data from here. In real life, we would actually use a database or something else, but for the example, it's just an inline data object. Let's make a form, something more interesting. Div row div call md12. Inside this, we're going to make an h2 with the name contact me. And now we're going to make a form, and it's going to be a smaller form, call md6, and call md offset to 3. And when we're working with the form attributes, we make it like this. So we can use an action and set it to slash. Inside the form, we want to make a div with the form group, which is Bootstrap, not from form. That's Bootstrap styles, and a label with name. And finally, the input form control. And like before, we defined the attributes like this. Type is text, and name is name, and placeholder is enter your name. If we save this and check it on the page, we have it right here. So this is the form. I'm just gonna fast forward a bit. Now we have a full form except the submit button here. And finally we can use the button .btn success and pull right to place it on the right side. And there we go, the send button. For fun, or how to show you how to make an A tag, we can do a back button like this, a.btn primary, and then the href like that, and the text back. So now if we click on back, we should go back to the front page, and voila. When we work with Jade, we have this part that defines Jade. We have the routes, so every route can contain some data, title, and in this case an object, which is that object. We have the views inside the views folder. We can do it simple. We can use everything inside the index file, the header, footer, the menu, and everything inside the index.jade. But I like to use the dry method so I don't repeat myself on every page. So in that case, I use the extend layout, which uses this file, which you have seen before. One other thing I would like to show you is the head. So when we use Bootstrap, for example, we include Bootstrap or style sheets like this. We use the link, href, and then we tell the system where to look. And it's a style sheet. The same goes with scripts. It's a script, and the source is inside here, and that's it. And this block body was the thing that actually loads the index into the layout file.